Welcome back. You're watching Business Incorporated live on Channels Television. Now to the next conversation, we see securing startup funding can be quite challenging, especially if you're hoping to work with a traditional lender, as banks can be particular about who they give business loans to, and you usually want to see high sales volume, cash reserves, and at least a year of business history and strong credit. Many new businesses can struggle to meet these strict lending requirements. Well, startups in Africa have been receiving a lot of attention from investors across the world. Let's take a look at how much funding came into Africa in 2021 and get an outlook for 2022. Right now we have Raul Shah, Head Financial Equity Research at Telema UK. Great to have you, Raul.
Yeah, hi. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. So last time we spoke, just before Christmas, you gave us a run through of how African stock markets, performed in 2021. If we think about venture capital investment on the continent, was it a similar picture?
Actually, not really. So 2021, as I said before, was a good but not great year for listed equities in Africa. But it was a spectacular year for startup companies that were looking to raise funding. So those companies raised more than twice the amount of funds in 2021 as they did in 2020. And 3 times the level of 2019. So to put some numbers on that, they actually raised around $4.3 billion in total, and that's across around 800 transactions across the whole of Africa.
All right, quite interesting, but were these investments, evenly spread out across the continent, or were there, any hotspots?
Yeah, actually, it was very concentrated. So 4 countries attracted around 80% of all that funding. Those are Nigeria, South Africa, Kenya, and Egypt. And actually, Nigeria, it didn't have a great year in terms of the stock market, but in terms of startup funding, it was the standout performer on the continent. Around 1/3 of the whole continent's funding ended up in Nigeria. And I think there's one key reason for that, and that is the financial inclusion opportunity in Nigeria. So there are around 70 million individuals, 70 million adults in Nigeria who are financially excluded in some way. Maybe they don't have a bank account or they find it difficult to secure a loan. And over half of Africa's startup funding is actually going to fintech. So I think that's where the opportunity is as far as startup investors are concerned.
So I guess fintech is getting all the action there. So, 2021 was a strong year, but what about 2022? Would you say we've peaked, or do you see more growth to come?
To be honest, I think we're going to see more positive trends. I think there's a few reasons for that. So if we think about Nigeria, yes, it was a star performer, but the total amount of funding was equivalent to only around $7 per person. That compares to $19 in India or $1,000 in the United States. So, and remember, Nigeria was one of the better performers. So for most of Africa, you're looking at funding levels of around $1 per person. So there's definitely a lot of upside. The other reason why I think it's going to be a better year is that we're seeing more billion-dollar startup companies being formed in Africa. So these are popularly known as unicorns. And 5 companies joined the Billionaire Club in Africa last year. And actually, some of your viewers probably use some of these companies already, the likes of Opay or Flutterwave, Andela, and Chipper Cash. And I expect that we will see more such unicorns appearing in 2022.
Do you see some of these companies actually, getting publicly traded?
Some of them are going public, yeah. I mean, so, a key example is eFinance in Egypt, for example, which IPO'd just before the end of last year. And that's a payments company, so, in the fintech sphere.
All right. But look, so now, any thoughts on which markets could do well, this year? I mean, we can look into your crystal ball.
Well, I think, we talked about fintech, and I think fintech is going to continue to attract the bulk of the attention. And when you think about fintech, you're looking at the financial inclusion opportunity. So the countries that are most interesting from that perspective are the ones with big population centers and poor financial infrastructure. So, Nigeria, Egypt, Ethiopia, even Democratic Republic of Congo. I think these are the markets where fintechs can make a real difference, and that's what investors are, latching onto.
All right, Raul Shah, always great to talk to you. Head Financial Equity Research at Talima UK. Thanks so much for coming on the program today.
Thank you so much.